Recently, I've been pondering the different ways varied cultural groups act and why some really grate on my nerves. Why the goal of some seems to be outshout you to get their point across. Others whisper their pleas, and some engage in unending debates and discussions that never come to conclusions. And I suppose the ones that bug me the most are the ones who just ignore the issues of the day in favor of hockey, football, or 90 Day Fiancé on TV. And yes, I am sure that the things I like are equally repugnant to some others. Recently, I heard Piers Morgan interview Sacha Walpole, and they got to discussing traditional British values. Piers put forward dignity and decency, but Sacha spoke of the values her parents had passed on to her. First off, work hard and play hard. In other words, give your all to whatever you're doing. But then came three simple bits of advice that seemed particularly appropriate in the age of social messaging. Do not air your dirty laundry in public, particularly worthwhile in this age of the internet. Do you really want your future boss to know your predilection for gambling on mud wrestling? Or do you want your grandchildren of the future to view a scantily clad or falling down drunk granny? Mind your own business was another bit of living well advice. After all, do you want anyone else to be minding yours? Too many responses on social media seem to involve condemning others, even people you have never met, because the mob says that they are the ones to cancel. Don't get involved with what you don't want to be involved in. Jumping on the bandwagon doesn't mean you are going to get where you want to go. Pick your causes carefully, and then back to the first bit of advice. Work hard at it. At that point, I realized that I had heard all those bits of advice before. I was raised with them and heard variations of all of them roll off the tongues of my parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. And my children undoubtedly heard my repetition of them as well. Those values can overcome differences and help people to be good neighbors. It's easy to misunderstand others, particularly when we don't speak the same language. I can remember when I was young, I had neighbors who spoke German, and I always thought they were fighting because of the sound of their language on my ears. And I was rather confused by the amount of laughter that interrupted their curt-sounding interactions. Now it's the expressions on the faces, the light in the eyes, and the laughter that inform my interpretation of those speaking languages I don't know. Clearly, customs and values of different peoples can clash, just as one's appreciation of music may differ. My husband and I agreed not to play music in the house because of our distaste for the other's favorites. Whoever was driving the car got to pick the radio station, so we listened to an awful lot of news. What we have to do is work out the compromises and accommodations that Christ would expect of us. Talking to others is a good place to start. I'm sure I do things that annoy others, but if you don't tell me, I won't change. I might not even if we do talk about it, but I will try to minimize the irritation. We interact with so many people in so many venues that we can't expect to get to know everyone that we encounter. People who come from other countries, other cultures may well have different ways to measure hospitality or hostility towards them. Those who are looking for an insult can always find one, but those who seek to welcome others can smooth troubled waters and make an encounter a positive experience for everyone. A genuine interest in how others are doing paves the way to conversations and learning that may benefit both, and at least relaxes concerns about the other's intentions. We have to stop taking others for granted and assuming we know what they want or will do or how they're going to react. They are probably as ignorant of you and your motives as you are of them. And it doesn't matter if they grew up next door to you or come from another country, another religion, another age group or status. It is the exploration that's exciting, discovering what you have in common and what you can debate or share. My intention is that good manners make it all possible. If you respect me, it's hard for me not to respect you. If you speak with passion about your concerns, I respond similarly, and we can have a great debate. I don't have to like your music, and you don't have to relish my cuisine. But for an evening, we can tolerate the differences and appreciate the fact that we are not all alike. For that is how God created us. Each of us unique. Each of us with so much to offer. And all we need to do is open our minds to the possibility that we can learn and grow and be part of the great shaping and reshaping of society, so that all feel embraced and welcome. Unlike the alternative that comes from judging and ignoring and abusing those we don't know. We welcome friends into our homes, and, in the words of William Yeats, there are no strangers here, only friends you haven't yet met. The potential is unlimited. We only need to get back to the old values that greased communications between strangers and friends alike, and cultivate friendly relations that enrich everyone's life. Funny how it just takes good manners and interest in others to make it all happen. And so my prayer, loving God, grant all of us the ability to overcome shyness, laziness, indifference, and every impediment, so that we can create a wonderful family of friends from strangers and enrich our lives and the lives of all we encounter. So may it be. Amen.